I can neither confirm nor deny that. See how good I am?
Deep down, I always knew it was a facade.
Gentlemen, I'm sure you suspected. I can neither confirm nor deny that. See how good I am?
Database. A database is a collection of data that captive. A captive is a prisoner.
Relative. A relative is a family member.
Tattoo. A tattoo is a design. Hood. A hood is part of a coat that. Referee. A referee is a person who makes sure that the rules. Tuition. Tuition is the amount of money paid. Terminal. If something is terminal, then it causes or results in death.
Landscape. A landscape is how an area of land looks.
Wrinkle. A wrinkle is a line on a person's face that happens as they get old.
Mechanic. A mechanic is someone who fixes vehicles.
Coordinate. To coordinate things is to make different parts work together. Irrigate. To irrigate means to supply water.
Pound. To pound something is to hit it many times with a lot of force.
Precipitate. To precipitate an event means.
Opinion. An opinion is a thought about a person or a thing. Reputation. Reputation is the opinion that people have. Message.
Pulse. A pulse is the beat of the. Compliment. To compliment something or someone is to make them better. Grace. Grace is a quality of moving in a smooth. Dilemma. A dilemma is a difficult situation in which a choice has to be made. Adept. If someone is adept at something, they are very good at doing it. Duration. The duration of an event is the time during which it happens. Inevitable. When. Appoint. To appoint someone to a job means to give the job to them.
Hurry. To hurry is to do something quickly. Guard. To guard something is to take care of it.
Donor. A donor is somebody who gives something to.
Cell. A cell is a small room where a person is locked.
Indifferent. When someone is indifferent toward something, they have a lack of interest in it. Innate. When something is innate, it is something. Restrict. To restrict is to limit something and prevent it from getting. Auditorium. An auditorium is a large building used for public. Digest. To digest means to swallow food. Prominent. When something is prominent, it is important. And ally. An ally is someone who agrees to help or support you. Hydrogen. Hydrogen is a gas that has no taste, color, or smell.
Forest. A forest is a place with lots of trees and animals.
Provoke. To provoke someone means to annoy them. Notorious. When something is notorious, it is well known. Anthropology. Anthropology is the study of people. Nourish. To nourish something is to give it food that it needs to live. Curse. To curse someone or something is to hope that bad. Supervise. To supervise something means to make sure. Dominate. To dominate someone or something is to control them.
Poverty. Poverty is the state of being poor.
Aquatic. If a plant or animal is aquatic, it lives or grows. Grid. A grid is a pattern of squares with numbers and letters to find place. Symmetry. Symmetry is the state of having two. Rust. Rust is a red and brown coating on. Guardian. A guardian is someone who protects. Prevalent. When something is prevalent, it is common. Humanitarian. If some
Attitude. Someone's attitude is the way they
correspond. To correspond is to match or to be similar to something. Chronic. When something is chronic, it happens over and over. Dialect. A dialect is a regional variety of phase. A phase is a stage in a process or the gradual development of
support. To support something is to like it and help it be successful.
anew. If you do something anew, you do it again and in a different way. Premise. A premise is an idea. Culinary. If something is culinary. Tactic. A tactic is a careful plan to achieve something. Theme. A theme is the main subject of a book, movie, or painting. Intimate. When a relationship is intimate, the two things are very close. Linguist. A linguist is someone who studies languages. Microchip.
Theory.
Meditate. To meditate.
Spread. To spread is to move quickly to more places.
Renaissance. The Renaissance was a period between the 14th and 17th century. Analytic. If something is analytic, it is related to logic and reasoning.
The analytic article criticized the new plan and presented one of its own.
Abbey. An abbey is a house or a group of houses where monks or nuns live. Medication. Medication is medicine or drugs given to people who are sick. Aggression. Aggression is behavior. Metabolism. Accordingly. If someone acts accordingly, they act in a way that is suitable. Chaotic. When second-hand. When something is second-hand, it has been owned. Barren. If land is barren, it has no plants growing on it. Infer. To infer something is to decide it is true based on other information one has. Addict. An addict is a person who cannot stop doing or having something. Fellow. A fellow is someone who shares a job or quality with someone else.
All of my fellow patients at the hospital have also complained about the food.
Emperor. Adjoin. To adjoin something means to be
Clerk. A clerk is a type of worker.
naval. When something is dock. A dock. Sever. To sever something is to cut through it completely.
He severed the string using scissors.
Diminish. To diminish means to reduce. Sow. To sow seeds means to plant them in the ground.
He always sows his gardens.
Shape. A shape is a simple form like a square or remain. To remain somewhere is to stay there.
Pedestrian. A pedestrian is a significance. The significance of something is the quality.
Punish. To punish means to make.
Trigger. A trigger is the part. Spatial. When something is spatial, it relates to the position and size of thing. Disprove. To disprove something means to show that it is not true. Exquisite. When something is exquisite, it is very beautiful. Drawback. A drawback is a disadvantage. Immune. When someone is immune to a disease, they cannot be affected by it. Impatient.
I can neither confirm nor deny that. Gentlemen, I'm sure you suspected.
Relative. A relative is a family member. Landscape. A landscape is how an area of land looks.
Partiality. A partiality is a tendency to prefer one thing to another. Prestige. If a person has prestige, people admire or respect them.
Pound. To pound something is to hit it many times with a lot of force.
Outstretched. If something is outstretched, then it is extended to its full length. Impatient. If someone is impatient, they are not able to wait for things. Amend. To amend something means to change it, to improve or make it accurate. Intake. Your intake of food is the amount of food you take into your body. Brass. Brass is a metal that is used to make musical instruments.
Situated. If something is situated somewhere, it is in that place.
Cove. A cove is a part of land where it curves inward around the sea.
Meteor. A meteor is a
Almighty. The Almighty is a name for a god in a religion. Mow. To mow grass is to cut it, to make it very short.
cell. A cell is a small room where a person is locked in. Faith. When people have faith in something, they believe in it and trust it.
Combat. Combat is fighting between two people or enterprise. An enterprise is a company or business. Designate. To designate someone or something means to give them a particular description. Winding. If something is winding, then it follows a twisting. Input. Input is information that is put into a fro. If something moves to and fro, it moves backward and forward. Or narrate. To narrate a story means to write about it. Or seizure. A seizure is sudden illness in which the body loses control and shakes. Cathedral. A cathedral is an important and often
Volcano. Colony. A rob. To rob a person or place.
Hatred. Hatred is a strong feeling of not liking someone or something. Genuine. When something is genuine, it is true or real. Spontaneous. When an act is spontaneous, it is not planned. It happens suddenly. Hostile. If someone is hostile, they are angry and unfriendly. External. When something is external, it is connected to an outer.
Rely. To rely on something or someone is to trust or depend on them.
Harness. To harness something means to control and use it, usually to make energy. Ceramic. If something is ceramic, it is made of baked clay. Dependence. Dependence is a situation in which somebody relies on something else.
Surround. To surround something is to close in on it from all sides. Persuade. To persuade someone is to make them agree. Skill. A skill is the knowledge and ability that allows you to do something.
Limb. A limb is a large branch on a tree. Muscular. When someone is muscular, they are very fit and ditch. A ditch is a narrow hole cut into the ground by a road or a field.
Mere. When something is mere, it is small or
discourage. To discourage someone is to make them feel less excited about something.
Lack. If there is a lack of something, there is not enough of it.
Swarm. A swarm is a group of flying insects. Burst. To burst is to suddenly break.
Blind. When people are blind, they cannot see.
Reflex. A reflex is an unconscious action in which a body part responds to an event.
Military. The military is the armed forces of a country.
Eligible. If someone is eligible, then they are permitted to do or have something.
Only people who bought tickets were eligible to win a prize.
Suck. To suck is to put something in your mouth and try to get flavor out of it. Impair. To impair something means to damage it or make it worse. Flee. To flee means to run away from trouble or danger. Maximize. To maximize something means to make it biggest and trim. To trim something is to cut it a little bit. Consecutive. When things are consecutive. Millionaire. A million. Cheerful. If someone is cheerful.
Youth. Youth is a time in people's lives.
Dedicate. To dedicate oneself to. Cater. To cater to someone means to provide them with all the things needed or want. Strain. To strain is to try very hard.
Chain. A chain is a series of connected loops, often used to keep things in place.
Respirator. A respirator is a machine that helps weak or sick people breathe.
The man needed a respirator to breathe.
Sever. To sever something is to cut through it completely.
He said.
Blend. To blend is to mix two or more things together so that they become one thing. Vulnerable. When someone is vulnerable, they are weak and without protection. Contempt. Contempt is the feeling of having no respect for something.
Indeed. Indeed means truly or really.
Arise. To arise is to happen. Saturate. To saturate something means to completely soak it. Nap. A nap.
Scale.
Nap. A nap. Enforce. To enforce means to make a person. Drawback. A drawback is a disadvantage. Recite. To recite something means to repeat or say aloud in front of a group. Peculiar. When something is peculiar, it is
Dozen.
Acute. When a bad thing is acute, it is very severe and intense. Rhyme. To rhyme is to have the same sounds at the end of a word. Marsh. A marsh is a type of wet land covered with grasses and
Passive. If a person is passive, they do not take action to solve problems.
brook. A brook is a small stream. Overlook. To overlook something is to not notice it or to not realize that it is important.
Underground.
Bullet. Medieval. Basin. A basin is a large bowl for washing things. A sink.
Profession. A profession is a person's job. Breed. A breed is a group of animals within a species.
Scratch. To scratch is to make small cut. Coarse. If something is coarse, that means it has a rough texture.
Interrupt. To interrupt is to briefly stop someone when they...
Lightning. Lightning is the
Scale. The scale of something is its size. Especially
posture. A person's posture is the position in which they stand or sit. Component. A component is a part of a larger machine.
mount. Something mounts when it becomes stronger over time.
Biography. A biography is an account of someone's life. Chore. A chore is a job that you have to do but don't like. Leisure. Leisure is time when you do not have to do work.
Thanks for dumbing that down for us.
Because I said so.
Our library's backdoor conundrum.
Last name Beeswax, first name Nunia.
Oh my.
Dear God, what have you done to me?
And it's none of your business, but I ate my twin in utero.
You, the forbidden fruit that is the
I'd rather learn boats than pots.
The student becomes the teacher!
Guys, you realize you're exploiting the naivete of a man who is...
What a fool. This trip's got a case of the giggles, huh?
Gotta go. That was tacky.
Profit, but I can't. I'm locked out of my old kingdom.
The funny thing about being smart is that you can get through most of life.
Well, then you should know that nothing says I'm a woman like doing it with me.
Nothing.
Amend. To amend something means to change it, to improve, or make it accurate.
Wow. You just wrinkled my brain, man.
He's good, isn't he?
He's real good.
Shouldn't you be rolling around on a bed covered in test ants?
Cove. A cove is a part of land where it curves inward around the sea.
And if they really prove to be untutorable?
Mow. To mow grass is to cut it, to make it very short.
I'd appreciate it if you left and stopped wasting all of our time.
There's the awkward pause.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom and bring my jacket, wallet, and keys with me in case there's a fire.
Fro. If something moves to and fro, it moves backward and forward, or seizure. A seizure is sudden illness in which the body loses control and shakes.
No,
Aren't you supposed to have like an Olympic gold medal in jibber jabber?
When something is mere,
Swarm. A swarm is a group of flying insects. Impair. To impair something means to damage it or make it worse. Flee. To flee means to run away from trouble or danger. Trim. To trim something is to cut it a little bit. Strain. To strain is to try very. Contempt. Contempt is the feeling of having no respect for something.
The judge had contempt for the wicked criminal.
Nap. A nap is a short sleep, usually during the day. Acute. When a bad thing is acute, it is very severe and intense. Marsh. A marsh is a type of wet land covered with grasses and short plants. Chore. A chore is a job that you have to do but don't like.
It's Nikki's chore to do the dishes every Tuesday and Wednesday night.
Leisure. Leisure is time when you do not have to do work.
Profit, but I can't. I'm locked out of my old kingdom.
Well, then you should know that nothing says I'm a woman like doing it with me.
Amend. To amend something means to change it, to improve or make it accurate.
She leans into me and the story goes like this. She caught me sneaking around in her phone and still she spread her legs. It goes out the window, over the balcony. The mother comes around and squats and hugs the child. She squeezes my hand. I want to let it sit a while. Amy's eyes. I tell her, reaching out. She shrugs teasingly. Amy wraps her legs around me. Because maybe, someday. I replace meaningless conversation. I smack Amy's ass. But several years have passed. But if you would ever leave your phone, I totally pawn. She You didn't signal when you turned. My balls crawl back inside of me. She spins to face. Oh, Joe, her legs quivering. I take her phone out of her purse. Amy nods toward the house. Do you know? She tilts her head like a schoolteacher with a slow kiss. You heading back to school? I would have it all. I memorize her face, her trembling lips. I shrug.
And I will. She claims to be so off the Hebrew. I should be dragged into a field and shot for being so fucking stupid. I've decided I need a change. She thinks life is better off the grid. So to what do I owe this honor? A heat that doesn't harass you in the shade. I owe him a goodbye. Their hearts are hard and pale. I can't wait to catch her and tell her what a deluded loser she is. And his patient misrespect. I lapped her nipples with my tongue. Well, what's wrong then? Amy ransacked my least favorite set. He said that insurance money is the most beautiful kind of money there is in this world. I trudge up the stairs. I walk into the butcher and pick up Mr. Mooney's favorite sausage. Why else would she steal those manuals?
Rely. To rely on something or someone is to trust or depend on them.
The boy relied on his older brother to help him.
Swarm. A swarm is a group of flying insects. Trim. To trim something is to cut it a little bit.
I had my hair trimmed.
Strain. To strain is to try very hard. Contempt. Contempt is the feeling of having no respect for something. Leisure.
Well, he is rather arrogant and has no mercy for weaker beings.
Amend. To amend something means to change it, to improve or make it accurate.
Section sec. What are you doing out there? I mean, you two are arguing about status at a college that correspondence schools make fun of. And you can't do a basket toss to save your life, but you made a commitment. I haven't made a comprehensive list of everything she took. I dropped to my knees and screamed. What's that for?
Clinging to life. I would have it all.
Why else would she steal those manuals?
Strain. To strain is to try very hard. Leisure. Leisure is time when you do not have to do work.
What's that for?